President Paul Biya has just granted an interview to Cameroon Tribune regarding the new, reviewed, and revised edition of his timeless classic, Communal Liberalism. The head of state answered 6 questions on what the book is, why he republished it, whether it's an election campaign book, what makes the new edition special, and his expectations of its readership. The interviewer first sought to know the reasons for the revision of the 38-year-old communal liberalism. I deemed it appropriate to take another look at the current issues at stake and the challenges of globalization, the digital revolution, and environmental protection, consolidating democracy and security, gender empowerment, and greater youth engagement in public life. The second reason he provided for the revision is that I am proposing communal liberalism as an appropriate answer to the fundamental issues of our national identity, that is, faced with the flaws of globalization, to ethnicism and clanicism, to our democracy, the enchantment and consolidation of which remains an ongoing challenge. The president equally cited as a reason for revising the book the success of the previous edition that engendered considerable reaction and comments. The second reason centered on why the author of Communal Liberalism did not write a second book, giving the huge feedback and success of it. To this, the author replied, "The real issue here is the relevance of communal liberalism for Cameroon's development, to face present-day challenges, to meet the expectations of Cameroonians, the demands and hopes of our fellow citizens." He went further to explain that the book was rewritten in view of the new context, the new knowledge on the development of Cameroon, the welfare of its people without judgment, the dynamism of the private sector. He explained it is a compass that can help us find our way, the direction of our action towards progress, national unity, security as a whole, and democracy. That is what communal liberalism is. On the question of what communal liberalism is, President Paul Biya had this to say: "Communal liberalism is both a thought and a practice based on the wisdom of our traditional societies and the realities of the so-called modern world to achieve the development of Cameroon and of the human being based on the principles of freedom, solidarity, social anchoring, and the interaction between freedom and solidarity." He went on to say that the work is a harmonious combination of the individual and everyone else to actualize the Cameroonian dream. In view of the current context of a presidential election, the interviewer did not miss the chance of finding out if it is an election campaign book. The work, he clarified, goes beyond the scope of an election campaign. It is a thought and a development strategy, an approach and an art for managing ethnic, linguistic, and religious diversity to promote national integration, a theory and a practice to capacitate young people, women, and vulnerable groups, a manifesto to protect the environment, peace in and out of the country, the promotion of the rule of law. He wrapped up by saying, "Communal liberalism is the book for the Cameroon that we want, that we can and must build for the fulfillment of present and future generations." Meanwhile, the interviewer also sought to know what makes the new work special. It is because the new edition of my book is characterized by the alignment of communal liberalism with the multiple challenges facing Cameroon today and the hopes of the Cameroon we want for ourselves and our children. Communal liberalism, he added, is equally special because it addresses issues such as Cameroon's role in the digital revolution, revitalizing the private sector, etc. To round off, the interviewer inquired to know from the author, President Paul Biya, and candidate in the October 12, 2025 presidential election, what his expectations of his readership are. Readers are free to make their own assessments. However, I hope that each Cameroonian will take ownership of communal liberalism and tailor it to their sector of activity, understand the current challenges and the solutions proposed therein. To conclude, communal liberalism will remain embedded in the consciences of Cameroonians, for it outlines the author's vision for Cameroon's development. And this is a book that was a harbinger and advocate of such development options as decentralization, a democratic culture, national unity, peace, and dialogue in Cameroon.